Welcome you to the Public Eye, where we do a deep dive into matters below the threshold. I am Henry Igwebike. According to open source research, the World Health Organization recommended that 15% of every country's annual budget should be dedicated to healthcare provision. In Nigeria, however, we are 10% shy of the target. Out of the 54.9 trillion 2025 budget christened the Budget of Transformation, the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu only made available a paltry sum of 2.48 trillion naira, that is about $1.56 billion, to healthcare in Nigeria for over 200 million Nigerians. Now, just before some paid media jobbers on the payroll of this government might swiftly want to defend the indefensible under this administration, let's take a look at what other African countries at our pedestal are doing. In Egypt, for example, its $91 billion 2025 budget captured $9.95 billion to healthcare alone for a population of 114 million Egyptians. And little wonder its tertiary teaching hospitals look something like this. As awesome and efficient as the healthcare facility in Egypt from the global south appears, so are the healthcare facilities in the global north, where our leaders often go for maintenance. Now let's take the healthcare facility in France or the UK, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and other politicians allegedly go to for healthcare maintenance. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how their university teaching hospitals look like. A total contrast, you will say, from what we have in Nigeria, isn't it? My investigative report on the state of Nigeria's very shabby and almost moribund public healthcare facilities took me to the iconic Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital, Ile, and this was my discovery. From the entrance, you could notice easily how grossly dilapidated the roads are. It's truly sad to imagine that in 2025 in Nigeria, Fajuyi Road, Ile-Ife, where the iconic Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital is situated, still looks like one of those earliest discovered roads pre-Nigeria's amalgamation of 1914. The question that raged within me while I was filming this is, why wouldn't a pregnant mother, for example, in her second trimester, have a miscarriage en route the OAUTH in Ile-Ife due to the stress on the road leading to the health facility? Is this how the road that leads to the hospital in France and the UK, where our president and other Nigerian politicians go for healthcare maintenance? Now, let me break more down for you. Secondly, why wouldn't a senior citizen battling terminal ailment not suddenly lose their lives from stress while navigating this same treacherous OAUTH Fajuyi Road while coming for treatment? The very gory sight on that road made me ask a very salient question, and it is, where is the senator representing that community in the 10th Assembly? Where is the federal and state house members representing OAUTH community? What really do all of these politicians do with the humongous and dizzying amount of constituency allowances and grants that they receive every now and then? Now, how about the executive governor of the state, or let's say the local government chairman representing that particular area and community? Are they all oblivious of the deplorable state of the road? Or, as usual, they do feel it doesn't matter because neither them nor their family members and cronies use the health facility? Maybe we can say that. As I got into the OAUTH facility now, especially at the hematology department corridor, adjoining all the departments, you could see the extent of decay, gross decay, to the roof in a tertiary healthcare facility in the largest black nation in the world, called Nigeria. Very despicable, you would ask. In fact, it was even more despicable that an iconic institution like the OAUTH is constantly plagued with epileptic power, so much so that I watched with dismay how patients who needed complete blood count, CBS, a common blood test readily obtainable in saner climes, ladies and gentlemen, but in Nigeria, they were asked to go home at the OAUTH and come back the next day because the facility, that same facility, had no electricity to carry out a very simple test in a country where the president of the country had appropriated 10 billion naira for a mini solar grid for its Aso Rock facility. Isn't it laughable, folks? Because the question is, does the State House or Aso Rock Villa save lives as much as our tertiary healthcare facilities in Nigeria? Is the question any person coming in or living in Nigeria would ask. Why would same administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu allow itself be gifted with a 10 billion naira solar grid for the maximum and satisfactory enjoyment of the president with its 24 hours electricity, as against the 33 teaching hospitals around the country where thousands of lives would be saved eventually because electricity is guaranteed? A very catch question, you would say. The OAUTH might be under reference in this story, but same situation applies to every other university teaching hospital across Nigeria. There is no gainsaying, ladies and gentlemen, that Nigeria's ruling class has deliberately refused to allow sustainable investment in Nigeria's healthcare system because they don't use the facility and it's never been a priority for them. But my question again is, how come the same facility like the OAUTH and all the university teaching hospitals over the years has been a Trojan horse for humongous embezzlement from the same politicians who do not use the facility and are not prepared to make it work? This is the sad reality we find ourselves in Nigeria, and this is the public eye. Thank you for watching once more. Please do well to visit us if you may. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on the public eye. Bye-bye.